Hello, welcome to the Craft Ice Magic Set of tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how I make a little tassel. So these tassels are the size that I'm using for my Cupid's Arrow Advent Wrap, and they basically only use 1.1 grams of yarn. But of course, if you've got more left over from knitting your shawl, you can use them up in your tassels. So in addition to the 1.1 grams of yarn that you're going to need, you need a business card or a credit card, something similar in shape and size to this. You need a darning needle, a pair of scissors and a tape measure. So first of all, I'm going to get my yarn and I'm going to hold the end of the yarn on one of the long edges of the business card, and I'm just going to wrap 20 times. So that's wrapped 20 times, and I've finished at the same end that I've started this end here. And I'm going to cut my yarn just a little bit longer than that, just in case if I have stretched it a bit, when you let go, you want all the yarn to be roughly the same length here, because that's the full length of your tassel. I'll then gently put this down onto the table so that I don't move the yarn, and I'm going to cut myself an 8-inch piece of yarn so that I can use that to attach it to the shawl or whatever you're attaching your tassel to. And I'm going to thread the yarn underneath so that you're catching all the threads of your tassel. This is the end where you've got the cut ends. This is where you want to tie it. And then I'm just going to use a simple square knot to keep that all together. I want to try and do it as tight as possible, so I've kept my thumb on that first knot, and I'm now tying the second one. There we go. I'll make sure that's on the edge of the card. So there we go. We just need to cut the ends of the tassel at the bottom, cut in as straight in line with the bottom of the card as you can. And that will come off your business card. And now we need to tie at the top of the tassel here. So I'm going to take another piece of yarn. You want it to be 12 inches long. And then I'm going to place my tassel over the top of this piece of yarn. I'm going to tie it, and you can see how it's working up. It's coming to look something very similar to one of these. And I'm going to do a double knot on here just to secure it a bit so it doesn't move as I'm wrapping it. And if I take the two ends, one's obviously a lot shorter than the other, I'm then going to wrap it around the top of the tassel, and then I'm going to try and cover that very end of the yarn with the yarn that I'm wrapping around. And you want to do it as sort of neat as possible. There we go. So we're nearly at the end, and I take my darning needle, thread it, and I'm going to scoop a little bit of that yarn up with my needle. And then the loop that it's just pulling in as I'm pulling this through, I put my needle through there and pull tight, and I'm going to do that twice. Going through that loop. And then once I've done that, I'm going to put my needle in through where I've wrapped the yarn so that it's going to become part of the tassel. And I'll pull that down here. And you can see that the one I've just pulled through is a little bit longer, and you can give that a bit of a trim. There are some ends that I want to trim off as well, just to make it a little bit straighter. I trim those ends. And there is your tassel. So this is our tassel that we've made, and this one is just done with 20 wraps, but if you look at some of these, they're a little bit plumper, and there's probably about 25 or 30 wraps on some of these. So if you want them to be a little bit more voluminous, just wrap a few more times. So there we are, you know how I make the tassels for the Cupid's arrow wrap. If you want links to the pattern itself, I will leave them in the description bar, as well as some of the items that I've used to make the tassels. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye!